Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel for Angular and JavaScript interview questions. And today we are going to discuss about reduce array helper, and that is widely asked in the interviews, and most of the projects are using this array helper, and it helps in lots of scenarios. So I will share the real-time scenario as well for reduce array helper, and also we will have some more videos for removing a duplicate element from array using reduce array helper and balancing the parentheses. For example, if we are having this three open parentheses syntax and then three closed parenthesis syntax, so that means I should get true because this parenthesis opening and closing is balanced. But suppose if I have four parentheses and open parenthesis and three is closing parenthesis, so I'm not having closing for all my open parentheses, so my output will be false. So this is two whiteboard interview questions widely asked in the interview, so we will have video for this as well. So let's start. The reduce method execute a reducer function on each element of the array, resulting in the single output. So mostly if you will search reduce array helper on internet, so you will find a very common example for summing the numbers, and that example I will show you first, and then I will share the one real-time example too. Because generally when we asked in the interview, like when you use reduce in your project, so people are not able to answer this. So we should be able to see in which scenario you can use reduce as a helper in your project. So let's start. For example, I have array of these numbers, and if I want to sum all this number, so without array helpers, how can I do this? So yes, we need a loop, and first I'm going to declare one variable that's called total, and I'm going to initialize this, and after that I'm adding this loop, and then I'm going to sum these numbers total plus equals to number, and then let's print this total in console, and now let's see what I'm getting. So I can see that I'm getting a total with the 197. Now let's do same with the reduce. So let's take these numbers dot reduce, and as we discussed, reduce are the helper execute reducer function on each element. So let's take this function, and the first argument of that function is a uh, output value, output object. So in this case output is number, so let's give this as a sum, and then we can say number, and then we can return here sum plus equals to number. And also when we are using reduce, then we can initialize our output value. So I want to initialize my sum, my total, with 0. So let's keep it 0 here, and let's print our output here. And let me clear console, and let's run it again. So I can see that I'm getting the same output, but when I use the loop, so I write this much of complex code, and I write this loop, and then I made this variable to add these numbers, and then I'm printing it. And with reduce, it's just a number of few lines of code, and I'm getting the same output. So that was a very common example. Now let's talk about one real-time example. If someone is asking you where can you use reduce array helper in your project, so let me uh, tell you if you are working, suppose if you are working for one school project and that school is running in multiple cities like city 1, then city 2, and so on. And each city school having multiple departments like department 1, then department 2. It can be like library, account, teachers, anything similar to that. Other city will also having same department 1 and department 2. And each department will have n number of employees. So we can say employee 1, then employee 2, similar to that. Other department will also have employees E3, E4, and so on. So when you will create a API for that, suppose I want one drop down and I want a list of all the employees across the cities. All the school employees I want to populate in one drop down. So I suppose if I'm getting output similar to this, let me format and show you. So this is a multiple cities and each city is having departments like library and then account and then teacher, and each one is having different employees like A1, A2, A3, A4. And what I want is I want to populate this A1, A2, A3, A4 employee name in one drop down. So how can I achieve this JSON data from this complex JSON? So for this we can use reduce. So let's start for this. So I added a same object what we have seen, which is having employees record for each city across the departments, and assigned that JSON data to one variable that's called results. Now let's use reduce array helper for getting employee record in Y in one of array. So let's say results, then this is a array helper, so I can say results dot reduce. And as we know, reduce runs a reducer function for each element. So let's create our reducer function, and the first parameter is a output value. So in this case, let's say output only. And first I'm getting the record of location. So let me type location here. And let's assign our output with the empty array. So if I will iterate with this result, so what I will get location and then departments, and departments is again a array. So here I can say location dot departments, and here again I can run reduce array helper, right? So reduce and give some name for our output, maybe A, and this is a department, so let's give this as a department, and assign this as a object this time. Now if I will iterate with all the department, so what I will get? I will get array of employees. So I can add reduce for my employees as well, right? So let's say department dot uh, employees, right? So let me copy these employees, and then I can add a reduce here as well, and let's give something, maybe B, then employee, and here what I'm going to do is, this is my output array, right? So in this array I want employee name, right? So what I will do is, I will push my employee name which is in this object, right? So output dot push employee dot name, right? And then from my outer reduce function, we must have to return something from reduce, right? So what I will return? Our output, right? So let me return our output here. And now let's print this, what I'm getting. So now let's click on run, and I should get my employees array in my console, right? So let me click on run. So great, I'm getting the record, but I can see there is some issue. I'm not getting all the records, right? Because we are having A1, A2, and so on, but I'm getting only few records. So let's go through this code. And yes, I missed to initialize my employee object here. So let's add comma here and let's initialize this object, and now let's click on run again. So great, this time I'm getting all the record A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and so on. And this is maybe a data issue. I'm getting duplicate A4, so let's verify this as well. So this is A1, A2, A3, A4. Yeah. So I'm having duplicate A4 in my JSON. So because of that, I'm getting duplicate. Else our output is expected. So that was great, right? With just a few lines of code, I was able to extract our JSON from the complex JSON object. So that way reduced helped us in our projects. And in the next video, we are going to discuss about how can we remove duplicate elements from an array. And this is a very common interview questions. This is a whiteboard questions, and if you will be able to answer this with the reduce array helper, so that will really help for your interview. So see you on next video. Thank you for watching.